Hey, welcome to another episode of Fixing My Followers. This one's going to be a little bit different. Normally I'm breaking down technique. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down one of my followers' tactics. I'm going to be watching their match footage in real time and talking you through what they're doing well and what they could have done better to perform better and in turn get a better result. Now, the player that I'm analysing is one of my followers. His name is Hugo Straver. He's actually got his very own YouTube channel called Tennis the World, so make sure you check him out after this video. But Hugo plays to a good level. He's a Dutch rating of 4, which is equivalent to about 8.5 UTR. And I've watched this match already. It's a great match. It's a very tight one. His opponent is a similar standard to his. And I know already that you're going to resonate with a few things that he's doing. And so my aim in this video is to give you some tangible things that you can take back into your own game to help you to perform better on the match court. Now, before getting into watching the match footage, I've got to thank Swing Vision for sponsoring this series of videos. Without them in these videos, they wouldn't be anywhere near as interesting, as the players that are sending me footage are all using Swing Vision, allowing me to check their match stats, the heat map of where their shots are landing. If you've seen my videos before, you guys already know this. But Swing Vision have brought out something new called Coach Reviews, which allows you to send your own match or training footage into a chosen coach to review for you. Now, although Coach Reviews is pretty new, there's already a great bunch of coaches for you to choose from to analyze your footage. And a little bit like what I'm going to do today, these coaches will break down your footage for you and help you with your tactics or your technique. And so if you're a player looking to get more help with your game, this is going to be a great tool for you and your tennis, especially if you don't have a coach. But even if you do have a coach, you could speak to them and get them involved with Coach Reviews, as Swing Vision are accepting new coaches today. And so I'll put all the relevant links into the description below, but I would definitely check it out if I were you. And so a massive thanks again to Swing Vision for sponsoring this series. But for now, let's check out Hugo's match. I've already watched it. I've made a few notes just so that I'm not blabbing too much, because I can be guilty of that. But I'm going to watch this with you in real time. Let's go. A nice serve +1 pattern there. So as you can see, Hugo's a lefty. He's the player at this end of the court wearing the black tee and the cap. And his opponent, Gunnar, at the other end is a righty. And straight away, you can see that Hugo is doing a good job at serving into Gunnar's backhand and using his forehand to hit his next shot into the backhand as well. And throughout the match, you'll see that this is a really successful pattern for Hugo. A silly shot choice there from Hugo, trying to hit a drop shot from around the baseline. Unless you're Carlos Alcaraz, I don't recommend it. Oof, that's a big forehand from Gunnar. So already you can see that really Hugo should be looking to avoid Gunnar's forehand and trying to target that backhand. And with him being a lefty, you know, he could use that cross-court forehand into Gunnar's backhand a lot more often to put the pressure on, but Gunnar's got the early break. So I feel here that Hugo should really be trying to get that ball onto Gunnar's backhand a little bit more often. Has a great return. He seems to be, you know, during this open rally play, he seems to be going to the forehand a little too often. I know it's early on in the match, but I can already see that Gunnar definitely prefers his forehand. It's a good shot. Chance to attack here. Good, so he's going into the backhand a bit more in this point. Great shot, there you go. Good, so Gunnar's got off to a good start. Like I said, I just feel that Hugo here needs to try to use his lefty forehand to go cross into Gunnar's backhand. So far, pretty much every time he's done that, he's won the point. So it's a good pattern to go to. Great serve to the backhand. Can he go back to the backhand? Yes, he has. Okay, it's a cheap mistake there from Hugo. Okay, he's chosen to go drop shot again. It's not easy to do from back behind the baseline. So he's already used that twice and lost it, and he's given him another break. So far, if I was in Hugo's box, coaching him through this match, it would be very simple. We want to get his forehand onto Gunner's backhand as much as we possibly can. That's easier to do when he's serving, but in these return games here, his job is to try and get that ball deep. Good lob. This needs to go to the backhand. Okay, it's gone into the forehand again. I think he's missed that. Yeah. Okay, 4-love. So there's heavy momentum in Gunner's favour at the moment. Still going to his forehand a little bit too much. Okay, I'm just going to pause it there. So Gunner's taken a 4-love lead, and he hasn't done a hell of a lot to hurt Hugo. But what I would say is Hugo is just letting Gunner have too many forehands. And as a lefty, that forehand cross-court to Gunner's backhand is so effective. Especially on these serving games, I think Hugo needs to be looking at that serve +1 pattern where he serves to the backhand, looks for a forehand on ball 3 and puts it into the corner on the backhand side, because even in that first game you could see Hugo was dominating play with that. And I think off the back of, you know, hitting to Gunner's forehand a little bit too often, Hugo's looked a little bit desperate in times in going for drop shots from positions where he probably shouldn't, and a couple of double faults as well, which has cost him those serving games. So let's see if Hugo can turn things around here from being 4-love down. Good deep return from Gunner. That's better. Get it into the backhand. There you go. So there's that lefty forehand into Gunner's righty backhand, and that tends to work pretty much all of the time. Let's see if he can go cross here. Yes. Oh, he's hit that backhand deep. He's hit it well, but you can see he had to float it. Keep it away from that forehand. Okay, got away with it that time. There is one benefit to going to a player's strength, is they are more likely to go big and make unforced errors. I think that's another double fault from Hugo there. That's good. There we go. Okay, so he's got a game on the board now. Let's see if he can get a break here. Nice, playing to the backhand. So we're definitely seeing Hugo's backhand and Gunner's forehand a lot more here, and that's a dangerous pattern to get into for Hugo. I feel if Gunner hits to Hugo's backhand, he's really got to try and find a way to go line to get Gunner to hit that backhand cross. Okay, another double fault from Gunner, so giving Hugo a bit of hope in this game. That's followed up by a good serve. Okay, a bit of a crowd started to build at the side of the court. Let's see if that changes the momentum a bit. Sometimes having a crowd can change things. For some players, they feed off that, pressure of having people watching. Other players, find it difficult to deal with that pressure. That's long. So we saw another rally there where Hugo was going backhand cross to Gunner's forehand. It's a good shot. A little round of applause from the crowd. Oof. Oh, that's a volley that Gunner's going to be disappointed with. Good rally. Although the score's 5-1, I feel these guys are pretty evenly matched. Okay, Hugo's got a bit of a chance here. He's turned this game around. See if he can get that serve into the backhand. Yes, he has. He's gone for the drop shot and it's paid off that time. Okay, 5-2. Just wide. So that's another example of Gunnar using his strength but going for a little bit too much, and that's the danger for those of you that have a big forehand. It's your strength, but it can also be your weakness if you don't use it in the right way. Okay, double fault. Looks like Hugo is feeding off the crowd a little bit here, and it looks like Gunnar is struggling a little. Be interested to know if this is a home match for Hugo or if they're away, because I definitely feel like the crowd is doing something here. Okay, 5-3, 3-5, he's back on serve. Got a chance to serve this game. That's not the pattern Hugo wants to get into. Gotta find that backhand, Hugo. Let's get that serve out there. Yep. Cross. Not sure what that was. That's good. Well played. Good hands. Definitely seen a shift in momentum here. And there's a few reasons for this. You know, it could be a bit of nerves when it comes to closing out the set. It's not easy to close out a set or a match. And for Gunnar, you know, being 5-1 up and having set points at that moment and then losing that game, it can add a little bit of tension. And it does seem as though Gunnar is not hitting through the ball as much as he was before. And it looks like Hugo definitely is. It's much easier to swing free when you're 5-1 down and you know, nothing to lose. So that could be a part of the reason why he's making a bit of a comeback. It's a little bit sloppy. You can see him looking over at the crowd, so I'm guessing this is a home match. Oof, that's big. That's big. Okay, interesting. There we go, 5-4. Gunnar now has another chance to serve it out. Let's see if he can change that momentum, because it's definitely shifted in Hugo's favour. Just needs to get those first serves in play and try to find the pattern that Hugo doesn't want. You know, if you look at the flip side, Gunnar really wants to find his forehand to Hugo's backhand. It's a good shot. He's made it back. Gunnar thought that was all over. Really enjoying this match. There's a few twists and turns. They're playing to a good level. I actually think that they're playing better now than they were at the start of the set. Both found their way in. It's a good rally. Gunnar's ripping that forehand into Hugo's backhand. That's a good point. Again, it just seems like Gunnar is now finding... That's a good shot, but I feel like Gunnar is now finding his forehand more often again into Hugo's backhand, and Hugo's gone a bit passive compared to how he's played in the last few games. Gunnar's given himself another set point here. There it is. So interesting first set, and I think although Gunnar has managed to win that 6-4, you can see now that Hugo's found his way into the match a little bit. I still feel as though he's not finding the pattern that we're talking about, his forehand to Gunnar's backhand, and I'm talking about that a lot, but I honestly think if he can get into that side more often, he can really turn this around. So it will be interesting to see how the start of this second set goes, because yeah, Hugo has definitely picked up a little bit of momentum, but the first game of the second set always very important and can be pivotal for how the rest of the match goes. So let's check it out. There we go. Really good first point for Hugo. That's a good way to start the set. Coming up to the net a bit more. And that's 2 very aggressive points from Hugo to start the set. So you can see him feeling a little bit more confident. It does appear that Hugo has picked up in confidence a bit since that crowd's built up, and if they can stay there, Hugo can really take charge of this set. Okay, good drop shot. So that drop shot's working a bit more now. Very good play. So Hugo is playing more aggressively. He's hitting that forehand cross into Gunner's backhand a lot more frequently, and it's definitely paying off at the start of this second set. There we go, 2-love lead. So I'm actually going to fast forward this second set as it pretty much continued in that manner, and Hugo managed to win it 6-2. Hugo played much more aggressively. He managed to find his forehand more often, going cross into Gunner's backhand, and managed to really serve well with a good first serve percentage. And I think that shift in momentum really made a difference. One tip for you guys watching is if you ever find the momentum going against you like Gunner did in that second set, the key is to really take your time in between each point and at the change of ends, because what you don't want is your opponent running away with it. And I think Hugo did a good job at keeping that momentum. But now let's see how it goes in the third and final set. Okay, Hugo to serve first, and he started the set with a double fault, which nobody wants to see. Well, maybe Gunner. An unforced error from Hugo. Hugo really needs to take this first game, just like that first game in the second set. This game is really important for that confidence level and momentum. That's well played from Gunner. Okay, so we've got the early break, and that could be pivotal in the shift in momentum. You can see the crowd's gone actually, which is interesting. Maybe Gunner prefers playing with less people watching. You can see Hugo going into the backhand more, which is a good move. It definitely worked in the second set. But what Gunner's doing now differently is he's actually using the slice backhand. And although that slice backhand isn't going to be hitting winners, it's landing much deeper on the court. So it's not as easy for Hugo to really attack. Good move from Hugo. So you can see he's doing the right things now. You know, he's hitting into the backhand. That first game was a bit awry in the third set, but let's see how Gunner changes. Is he going to still use that slice backhand? That was a good aggressive ball. It's pretty funny. I mean, this whole match has come down to that one single pattern of play that we spoke about right at the start of the video. Whichever player can get on their forehand to their opponent's backhand first tends to win the rally. And that's been in all 3 sets. There you go, same again. So 2-love down. Hugo really needs to hold here. And there's that serve +1 pattern that worked in the very first game of the match. Serve to the backhand, attack to the backhand. Oof, beautiful. Great game from Hugo. He really needed that. So 2-1, he's still a break down. You can see that Gunner's not so comfortable up at the net there. Likes being at the back of the court. There's that slice backhand. At this point, Gunner is now camping in that backhand corner because he knows that Hugo is going to that side more often, and that's a good move from Gunner. I still think Hugo needs to stick at it because he's not getting many winners hit past him when he's hitting the ball into that backhand corner. It's a good point. Really well played. This is becoming a bit of a chess match here. They're both trying to outwit each other, and you're seeing a lot more rallies in Gunner's backhand corner, which is great for Hugo. But Gunner is definitely making more balls now. Oh, he made it. Good tennis. 40-15 Hugo. This will be a great break for him. Using that slice well, Gunner. He's definitely found a way to counter Hugo aiming into the backhand side, but he's not doing much damage, so Hugo's got to keep going there. And he is. Just missed that one. Oh, it's in, I think, yeah. Okay, back to juice. This will be a big hold for Gunner if he can, and I honestly think that if he holds this, it's going to be tough for Hugo there on in. There we go. Point to hold this game. The quality of tennis has definitely improved in the last couple of games. Funny, I watched this match a couple of days ago. Ooh, in or out? It's called in. Yeah, I watched this match a couple of days ago and I actually can't remember who wins this game, but I'm gripped. It's a great shot. Gunner's finding that forehand again and he's ripping. We're now in that pattern that Hugo doesn't want to see. But he's made a silly mistake there. Gunner should have gone back cross. Yeah. Game point again. Oof. No way, he's made it. What a point this is, point of the match. And he's missed that overhead. Yeah, Gunner wants to be at the baseline, he doesn't want to be up there. That's it, Hugo needs to find that backhand side. No, didn't need to go big there. Got to have patience. Another game point, this is a big game. Another deuce. These long games are pivotal for either player. You know, if Hugo can get through this game, it's going to feed him a lot of confidence, but the same will be said for Gunnar here. Well left. That's a good shot from Hugo. He's got to put it away now. Oof. What a game Gunnar manages to hold. So that game again was pivotal, and the match continued. I'm actually running out of time because I'm supposed to be coaching on the courts behind me in a few minutes, so we're not going to continue to watch this match. But what I will say is both players held all the way through to the end of the match, and Gunnar took the set 6-4. But yeah, I honestly think that game made all of the difference to the rest of the set. And so, as promised, I want to break down what we saw so that you can put some of these things into your own tennis. And the biggest thing is, when you're playing a match, you need to find a pattern that works for you against your opponent, and you've got to use it as much as you possibly can. And it was the same pattern for Gunnar and Hugo. The first player to find their forehand into their opponent's backhand corner tended to win the point. And so as the server, you want to find a serve that allows you to get onto your forehand on the next ball. That will allow you to dictate play from the start. And as the returner, you've got to make that return deep, because if it's short, your opponent's going to find their forehand. So find a pattern that works, stick to it. The second note is to accept that your opponent is going to get used to the pattern that you're using against them. In the first set, Hugo didn't use that pattern enough, and that's the simple answer why he lost that first set. But in the second set, he did. He used it so much that Gunnar actually got used to it. And at the start of the third set, Gunnar found a way to counter it. He started slicing his backhand, and he started pinning himself in that corner so that he could run around and hit his forehand. But it was really important for Hugo to accept that Gunnar was going to figure it out. And at that point, you have two options. You either keep going there, knowing that eventually it's going to work, you're going to break them down, or at that moment, if they're really doing well countering it, you might need to change your tactic. As I mentioned in that third set, it became a game of chess, and you could see both players trying to counter each other's moves. The third thing to take note of is momentum shifts. And the important thing is that you need to notice when momentum is with you and when it's against you. If momentum is on your side, then you've got to ride that wave. Try not to spend too much time in between points and games, allowing you to keep confidence high and to stop your opponent from regaining rhythm. And on the flip side, if momentum is against you, take more time. Not so much that you hinder your opponent, but just give yourself enough time to regather your thoughts and to calm yourself down. And the final thing that I didn't mention is it's actually really hard to close out a set and close out a match. And as you could see in that first set, when Gunnar was 5-1 up, he actually struggled to close it out. Some players tend to get a little bit complacent, and their opponents, Hugo in this case, can swing a lot more freely because they feel like they've got nothing to lose. And in that case, it happened. One trick that you can do when you're up 5-1 or 5-2 or even 5-3 is, in your head, flip the score. If you pretend that you're 5-2 or 5-3 down, you're going to be a lot more focused and driven to win the next points and to close out that set. In fact, if you watch Wimbledon this year, Andreeva did exactly that. She actually won a match without realizing it, because in her head, she pretended she was down. And so there you go. I hope you enjoyed that slightly different format of fixing my followers. For me, it was really, really fun, as that was a great battle to watch, and feel for Hugo, as that match really could have gone either way. Massive thanks to Hugo for sending in your footage. A massive thanks to Swing Vision for sponsoring the video, and a big thanks to you for watching all the way through to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.